All right, Shalom. I'd like to start up saying, Call Halayim La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Harakak Wadash Ma'amah. Double honors to the other apostles, the great millstone, double honors to my other apostle as well. I heard one by Yashar down here in the Lions Den camp. Salutations to the Akim that are pushing the truth, sincerity, and truth, and peace and blessing to the men, women, and children that believe in the name Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right, I'm Khanat Zahn by Yashar from the Lions Den Yashar camp, and this is another Lions Den news and prophecy, so let's get it. Second Ezra 15:1 it says, Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Right? So now, there's a lot to that. I know we bring that out every time, I do one of these, but that's heavy because that's what our mind is supposed to be occupied, because the spirit of Yahweh Shemel Shai is the spirit of trust, prophecy. That's the testimony we're supposed to be giving, warning the people of what's to come, you know. Letting them know what is their judgment if they don't listen. And those that are able to endure to the end, let them know that this is their chance at salvation by repenting. All right. So now this particular article right here, there's a lot of things going on right now, like under the radar that people like it might fly over your head, but there's gonna be some furniture moving real quick. There's Russia's been saying a lot lately, man. It says this article right here says Russia issues new nuclear warning to United States, and it says um, will retaliate immediately. Right. So there's another one there's another lesson that I got to do where it talks about uh what was it? Hold on one second. It was talking about it was this one. It says Russia threatens to bomb NATO country over Tomahawk missiles. You see that? All right. So now Russia always already talking about retaliating on other things. See that? You got Russia flexing its muscles. Why are they flexing its muscles? Why is Russia flexing its muscles? Because Yahweh Shimon Shai is like uh bringing them back to that old spirit of the Soviet Union, the USSR. You know, I remember what was it? It was an old Nintendo game. I think it was called the Blades of Steel, or it was a hockey game. It might not have been the Blades of Steel, but the theme of the game was Russia versus United States, the Soviet Union versus United States, right? And back in the 80s, like you had that movie Red Dawn, and that was always in the atmosphere during the Cold War, Russia against the United States, Russia against the United States, right? Um, but it was the Soviet Union, Rocky Four, Soviet Union, Ivan Draga, you know. But then after the collapse of the USSR, you know, Russia wasn't really considered a threat anymore. But now the Lord, just like prophecy says in Ezekiel 38, Lord's bringing them back to that powerhouse state. You feel what I'm saying? So now they're flexing their muscles. They're saying all kind of stuff out their mouth that they want to say. And guess what? America can't do nothing about it. They cannot do nothing about it. So this might be the last administration of Babylon. That's what it's looking like. Lord willing, we out of here real soon. So what do? We constantly do what we're supposed to do to hasten the day of the coming of our Lord Yahweh Shai, to deliver us and bring us to Yahweh, man. All right. So so let's read it again. Speak down the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Because the word of the Lord is not going to return back unto him void. All right. Let's get into this article real quick. It says Russia has issued a warning that it will retaliate if any country, particularly the United States, resumes nuclear testing, according to the Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov. Yes, weird name. Speaking to reporters at the State Duma, Ryabkov accused Washington of maintaining nuclear test infrastructure in a state of readiness and signaled that Moscow is closely monitoring U.S. actions. The comments follow Russian President Vladimir Putin's remarks at the Valdai International Discussion Club, where he suggested preparation for nuclear tests were underway elsewhere. If a country with the capability makes the erroneous decision erroneous decision to conduct nuclear tests, and Washington is clearly in our focus, then we will retaliate immediately, he said. You see that, man? He will retaliate immediately. Mm, 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 Man, damn, bro. All right, so it says that's good news to us. It says why it matters. It says the statements remark a significant escalation in the nuclear rhetoric between two of the most critical nuclear powers. Russia's threat of retaliation and its withdrawal from key arms control agreements signal a deteriorating strategic relationship with the United States. The developments could undermine decades of nuclear proliferation, efforts and heighten global security risks, particularly as existing treaties approach expiration. There was a one nuclear treaty that Putin just said he was not going to renew. I forgot which one that was, but he was like, "Yeah, we ain't signing that. We gonna be already ready." And you know they have a lot of their nuclear weapons stationed over there in Belarus. I used to call it Belarus. The elder correct me on that. I'm talking about some damn Belarus. It's Belarus. But so Russia is not backing down. They're actually ramping up. Russia is the number one um uh country, a nation with nuclear infrastructure or nuclear weapons, I should say. You see that? All right. It says the breakdown of cooperation on uh, plutonium disposal and the uncertain future of the new Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty raised concerns about the erosion of arms control framework that have helped maintain strategic stability since the end of the Cold War. The absence of a dialogue and mutual verification mechanism could lead to miscalculations and heightened tensions. So now before certain things had to be done before anybody make a move. Without those treaties, like like you know how you flinch at somebody and they might not think you flinching at them, they might think you trying to hit them and they just hit you first. That's what they're afraid of. You see what I'm saying? So, but see, here's the thing: America's been doing all the flinching and bluffing. So now, without those treaties in place, it gives people the opportunity, like Russia, like, well, we thought, man, you were bucking up at us, so we thought you was on go, so we went. So you know what I'm saying? So they took the first blow. That's what they're afraid of. They don't have any restraints on these other countries that are nuclear powers they house all these nuclear weapons. Because you got to understand, Russia and China are within the top three. America's number two, but you have Russia and China, and Russia and China are allied together. And you have India, and India is allied with Russia also. They're part of the BRICS nation. So now, without those treaties in place, America is like a sitting duck because they can't really maneuver the way they've been maneuvering and like, oh, well, we're just doing this. We just setting up over here. We're allowed to do this, but you can't react because of this treaty. But if those treaties are not in place, what's going to happen is like it's everybody's going to be on go mode. Well, you moved this way. We thought you were setting up for attack, so we went ahead and just nuked you. So that's what they're afraid of. It says Ryabkov said that Moscow would respond immediately if any country conducts nuclear tests. He emphasized that Washington has maintained its nuclear test infrastructure in a state of combat readiness and a posture Russia has monitored since the decision regarding New START. It says the New START signed in 2010 by the United States President Barack Obama and Russian President Dmitry Medvedev, I can't never say his name, remains the cornerstone of bilateral nuclear arms control. The agreement caps each nation at 1,500 and 1,550 deployed nuclear warheads and 700 deployed delivery systems, including missiles and bombers. A key feature of the treaty on site inspections to verify compliance was suspended in 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic and has yet to resume. So they don't know how many they got because they're not able to do any. They haven't done any inspections in 5 years. It says originally set to expire in 2021, the pact was extended for 5 years, pushing its expiration to February 2026. But they haven't been. They just said it was suspended due to COVID-19, or whatever. It says Putin echoed Ryakov's concerns, saying at the Valdai International Discussion Club that Russia believes someone is preparing for nuclear tests. We warned that any such actions would prompt a retaliatory response from Moscow. And they ain't playing. They ain't playing at all. How much more of this I want to read? But y'all get the picture. Y'all get the picture, man. This is Isaiah 13 and 1. It said, the burden of Babylon, which Isaiah, son of Amos, did see. It said, lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain, exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the noble. And that's what we've been lifting. That's the word of Yahweh by Shem Shai. That's that banner, Yahweh Shai, that banner, that high mountain is talking about in America, Babylon the Great. All right. So we're going all this message that we're carrying is going all the way up until Congress, the government, everybody's gonna hear this. All right. It says, I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones for mine anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. So everybody's going to show up for this party. You know, the Lord's going to denuclearize the whole earth. And, you know what I'm saying? The angels going to be partakers of it. You know, it says the noise of a multitude and the mountains like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustereth up the battle. See, Yahweh by Shem Shai. He's the one bringing these countries together to bring on the wrath of his indignation. It says they come from a far country, from the ends of heaven, even the Lord, and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. Destroy what land? Talking about Babylon. All right, and those that come from a far country, he's talking about the missiles. All right, it says, "How ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand; it shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. Everybody gonna be bugged out. And they shall be afraid. Pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames." Man, they're gonna be tripping, bro. He said, "Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate. He shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it." Ain't nobody gonna make it out this but this elect. That's it. It says, "For the stars of heaven and the constellation thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in its going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine." What is that? That's nuclear fallout. That's nuclear fallout. Once those missiles start hitting and those mushroom clouds come up, that's that nuclear fallout. It's called nuclear winter. You're not gonna see the sun or the moon. You're just gonna see it like it's like you know how the fall overcast be, where you can't see none of it. That's exactly how it's gonna be, but it's gonna be like worm. It's gonna be toxic. The air is gonna be like poison. See that? The stars of heaven, all right? You ain't gonna be able to see none of that. It says, and I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and I will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. Right? Who's the most proud? Esau. And the poster child for Edom is America. See that? Where I want to skip down. Get down to verse 17. It says, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. That's the Medes it's talking about is Russia. So he's stirring up the spirit of Russia, right, to come against Babylon the Great, which is America. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity of the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. In Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be when Yahweh overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation, neither shall Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their folds there. So there's nothing gonna be left of this place. But nothing but swamp like creatures that can stand like extreme heat. That's the only thing that's gonna be left in this place, man. And you see Yahweh Shimon Shai mustering up the host of the battle, waking up these other nations to rise up against this place, man. All right, so I want to touch on that a little bit. Lord, when this lesson to edify and serve the purpose for the hope of elect, the ones that truly believe in the name Yahweh Shimon Shai. With that, I'm like Sekal Halayim by Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Harikak Wadash Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles, the great millstone, and double honors to my elder apostles, where I heard one body Asher Olive from the lines in camp. Salutations to the argument that are pushing the truth, sincerity, and truth, and peace and blessing to the men, women, and children that believe in the name Yahweh Shimon Shai. Shalom.